welcome everyone to the Patty on Purpose show. If you've got a big purpose, a mission, a calling to fulfill, you're in the right place. Each week we talk about the inner game, such as mindset, beliefs, what it takes to actually be seen in a big, bold way in order for your ideal clients to find you. But we also talk about the outer game, which involves being seen using social media, list building, offers, all the things that we need to have in place in order to support us on this mission that we have. So thank you for being here. If you're watching the replay, say hello. And you're welcome to ask any questions at any time at all, because I come back and go back through. And just give me an emoji if you are a person who feels like you are just meant for something big. And if I could just get myself in the place where I knew what to do and how to do it and had a little bit of support, I would be off to the races. So that's what this community is about. I'm so glad you're here. Give me an emoji if that's you. And we are going to go ahead and get started. Today, we're talking about list building because, and just one part of list building. I want to cover today opt-ins because one of your greatest assets when growing your business is your email list. Yes, there's a lot of social media platforms that you can be on, that you can get, you can go out and get clients on Facebook, on Instagram, and any number of ways. Who knows what's next? If you're watching this in the future, who knows? There could be a new platform next month. And those are all great. And at the end of the day, you don't own those. So it's important to invite people over from social media, from live events, if you're doing speaking, or even if you're attending live events and you meet some potential clients. We want to have one central place that we can gather everybody and create a community and give good value that is on our own platform. And then that is where your list comes in. So we're going to talk about the opt-in portion of list building today. Now, there's a few things you'll need before you even get started to set this up. And they're really easy, says the techie girl. They can be really easy. If technology, if you have sort of a challenging relationship with technology, I'm going to invite you to change your beliefs around it. What if technology was easy? I know that might sound simplistic, but sometimes just changing our beliefs makes things a lot easier or harder, depending on which way we're going with our beliefs, right? And what we focus on. It's so funny. I'll travel and I'll hear people complaining at the airport, and I love traveling and I rarely have an issue. The only thing that happens is I get free upgrades, or they're like, oh, here, let us just check your bag for you, or all kinds of great things. And I sometimes wonder what's happening with the people around me that are complaining or like rushing or nervous. Anyway, it's all beliefs. And so we get to make our lives as simple or as complex or even hard as we desire. So back to the technology piece. You can outsource your technology, or you can go in and learn how to do it. Google is a girl's best friend, right? If you have a question, ask Google. There are YouTube videos on everything. So the first thing you need is a container to hold your new email subscribers. And I like to recommend Aweber is a nice one. You can get ConvertKit. That's another one that is really user-friendly and effective. They aren't like their emails actually get delivered. Sometimes there's issues with deliverability. And also they're a great entry-level price point. So you're not investing a lot of money as you get started, but as your list grows, then you pay more and more, but that's okay because you're creating an asset and you're making money from it. So those are a couple of things that you could consider using for your list building. And then you need an opt-in page. Now you don't even need a website for any of this. Like, we're not even getting into that. I just want to show you how to start getting your list building done before anything else, because it's really the most important thing you can do in order to get clients. So when we're in business, as much as we might like the design and all the stuff, kind of the dreamy land we go into, and my website's going to do this and my programs are going to be like that. The bottom line is you need to be getting clients while you're dreaming and manifesting and creating everything. And so this is a great first step. All right, so once you have your email service provider, you'll need your opt-in page. I use Leadpages. I love Leadpages. Drip, I also know. I haven't used it. I am an Infusionsoft client, and they I believe they own it. They're constantly marketing to me. Maybe it's a partnership. I'm not 100% sure, but I've heard good feedback on it. And then also ConvertKit. I think they're, at the time of this recording, or live, whichever way you're watching me, it's about $100 a month. I'm not sure what Aweber is, like maybe 30 or so. So choose your email service provider, and then let's get a place for you to do an opt-in. If you have a website, you can do it right on your website. I love Leadpages because we can create templates and we can just use them over and over again. They have a nice little plugin that you can put on your WordPress site so that you can change the URL to be, in my case, like pattykeating.com/revenue flow, I think is the name of one of my opt-in pages. So it's not, it's sort of disguising that it's a lead page, although anybody who knows a lot about Leadpages can tell. But there are some benefits to that. It makes the link really easy to say. It looks better in print than the longer links. You can also just use a bit.ly, bit.ly link. That's really cool because you can track where people are opting in from. So we might have a lead page that we're advertising on Facebook, and then I'm also giving out when I'm speaking, and we want to give two separate links. They go to the same place, but then we can tell where the leads are coming from and know and track our numbers and watch our conversion rates and all of that good stuff. So there's a little bit of further down the line than where we are right now. Right now, I just want to get you started with your list building. So just a simple opt-in page with a beautiful thank you page. And when I say beautiful, I don't mean fancy and, automated or animated or any of that stuff. What I mean is beautiful from your heart. Like, thank you so much. Like, really showing the gratitude for the people who are taking the time to opt in to your trainings and to your offers. So that's really it. You need an opt-in page and a thank you page, and then you need a follow-up email sequence. So we've got the email provider, we've got the opt-in page, we've got the thank you page, and then we're going to write 3 to 5 emails that will follow up with people and just give them tons of value and answer their questions. So let's talk about what am I going to have them opt in for? I have a little list here. Well, the first thing you want to do, if you haven't watched the How to Attract Ideal Clients training, you might want to go there. If you already understand who your ideal clients are and you understand what they really want from you and you understand where they're at, rather than what you provide, but the problem that as they see it, not the way you see it. And once you've got that, then dive into it and really ask yourself, what is it that they need help with? And it doesn't need to be a lot. It's just one simple step. What's the first thing that they need? What's one thing you can teach them that they could apply right away today, and it would be of value to them? So think about that. What do they need help with? What do they really want? What's the reason they need help with that? What is it that they're really after? There's 4 main reasons that people pull out their credit card, and these are in no particular order. They want to improve relationships. They want to make more money. They want to change something in their life so they have more time freedom, or they want to improve their health. So if you can make sure that your opt-in ties into one of those 4 main things, which is pretty easy to do. Sometimes it'll even tie into 2. Then you're set. And then think about what they need help with. And then the third thing is, what are just some easy tips or tools that you could provide to them? 3 simple steps to do X, Y, Z. You know, it can be a one page of resources that they could use. Like I could make a free opt-in just giving resources like lead pages and ConvertKit, and, you know, just kind of make a list of some different things you need to get started with your list building and create an opt-in sequence from that. So, you know, that's what I mean. Just think of one thing that you can give to them. And it can be tips, it can be steps, it could be resources. All right. Then what's going on in your world that you could share? That's another tool that you could give to them, like an update. Like I might share, we're learning, I'm diving into Instagram. I'm a little late to the game, but I'm diving in, and wow, it's really amazing. And so I might be able to do, you know, here's 3 things we learned this week when we launched our Instagram strategy, and here's what's working, and here's what I would never do again, because I've already learned some of those things, right? So those are kind of what's going on in my world, right? Those are, and it helps people connect with you because you're really being open and honest, and, you know, here's what we're doing, here's how it's working, here's the mistakes we made, here's the success we had, and people like that kind of approach. So those are some of the things to think about, and it doesn't have to be hard or complicated. You can just sit down and jot it out on one piece of paper, put it into your Word, either Word or Pages, whatever you use, and create a PDF file. Maybe put a nice little border around it. You could use something like hold on, let me look this up. I think it's called My e-cover maker, but I want to make sure I give you the right name. So I'm going to go see. This is a really handy little website where you can upload a picture and it will turn it into a 3D graphic. Yeah, it's called myecovermaker.com. I'll put the links to everything I'm talking about in the comments after this is over. So, you know, I think it's $8 to download once, or $12 a month if you're going to do a lot of things. But that's a really easy way to just kind of make a little 3D graphic of what you're giving away. Another great tool is Canva, which is where we make our, you know, if I was making an opt-in and I wanted to have a cover for it, you can play around with that. It's easy to use. You can upload your own brand colors. You can upload your own fonts. So it really it holds your brand. So take a little bit of time, or just grab somebody on Fiverr, or is it Upworks now, that you can go just grab somebody to do it for you. Just look for a graphic designer who does, you know, e-covers, and you should be able to get somebody fairly inexpensively to go ahead and do that for you. And then you are just going to take that graphic and put it in your lead page or your WordPress opt-in site, whatever you've chosen to use. And what is important is that you let people know the benefits of opting in. So, you know, it doesn't have to be a lot. It's you know, your email address has value to you, but so you want to have more value than they hold on their email address. They actually want to receive emails from you. So just think of 3 little bullet points that you could put down that represent the value of the training. And then you've got your beautiful thank you page. And here's a little trick I learned from Amy Porterfield in one of her list building courses. And that is, and I love this so much, and it's so simple, because I was overcomplicating it. Just have one thank you page for everything you're doing for opt-ins. If you're doing opt-ins with your blogs, like if you're doing content upgrades or some of the other things you can do for opt-ins, just send them all to the same thank you page. Makes it really easy, right? So just make your thank you page. If anybody, I'll put a link to one of my opt-ins also in the comments, so you guys can kind of go through the sequence and test it out for yourselves. So that is really it. Once you've got that, you're set. The next thing you need is your follow-up sequence. So what do we do with a follow-up sequence? Well, you want to make sure that you're adding value and building a relationship, and then also beginning to make your offer. So choose whatever your opt-in is going to lead people to. Our opt-ins have a specific job assigned to each individual opt-in to generate leads for a specific program. So it's not just opt into my list and get newsletters every week, which you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. However, I do want you to give your opt-in an assignment. What is the job this opt-in is in charge of? So if it's to get people to a newsletter, then make sure every week when you said your newsletter is going to go out, that your newsletter goes out, that you remind people that they opted in for it, that give great value, and that you have something in there that they could say yes to. So what we want to do is get people in the habit of opening our emails and clicking, opening the whatever they clicked on, the website, and clicking, right? So that comes with trust. So in this sequence, you want to build trust, you want to provide value, and you want to invite people to take an action, the call to action, the CTA. And every step of the way, we always want to have an action step for our potential clients. Now, I like to use, 3 to 5. We usually do around 5 email follow-up sequence. And one thing to consider, have you guys ever watched a soap opera? It's like, where are you going with this? In a soap opera, every episode, go back and watch one if you haven't watched one for a long time. And even some of the evening shows, I don't watch a lot of them, but I know there's soap opera type shows out there in the evening. But just go watch one purely for educational reasons around marketing, because what happens in every single episode? A loop is closed. So some big drama that happened last week or has been happening over the course of months. At the time of this right now, recording, if you're watching it in the future, This Is Us is a huge show. And I love that show so much. And they do a great job of this. Something is resolved in each episode. And then that's called closing the loop, because the mind wants to close the loops. When we have an open loop, we think about it. Do any of you guys watch a show and you kind of think about it? I wonder which woman he's going to choose on The Bachelor. Maybe this one, maybe that one. That's an open loop. So your email sequence closes a loop and opens a new one. So you can hint at what's coming, right? So you sent them this great opt-in. You can check back and ask them if they have questions or how they applied it, and say, now that you've got that done, here's the next thing to consider. And in tomorrow's email, I'll be covering A, B, and C about this new topic. So stay tuned, right? So that is an open loop. You want to really invite people to get in the habit of opening your emails, because there's so much going on with email. And unless you've built that relationship and they actually want to hear from you and they actually, enjoy what you provide to them, the emails can just end up unopened. And then if you're doing, once you get this in place, you can put Facebook ads under it, or, if you're investing a little bit of money in it, which I do recommend, it's a waste of money if they're not opening. And having said that, the open rates aren't great. So we kind of look at the budgeting overall. If you've got a 10% open rate, you just work that into your numbers. So if it costs you $1 a lead, you got 100 leads and a 10% open rate, you spend $100 to get 10 people who are actually reading your emails, right? Which isn't really a great representation. That it's not that expensive, but it was easy math. And you get what I mean. I hope that you want to look at this from a numbers perspective. How much will it cost me per lead? And how much am I willing to invest in generating a new lead? And this gets into some of the metrics where, well, we need to know what's the lifetime value of a client, and what's the yearly value of a client. So how much will I budget? How much will I invest in in getting a new lead that could potentially be a client. So we won't get into the metrics today. We'll do that in the future. Today, what I want to encourage you to do is make sure you've got your opt-in up and running and that you're tracking it. We can guess all day long. We can look at things and say, oh, that's pretty, or that copy sounds really good. But the truth of the matter is we don't really know until we give it to the market and receive feedback, and then we adjust. So here's a few of the adjustments you can look for. People are seeing your opt-in, but they're not opting in. That means we need to either fix the graphic or the copy, right? Okay, then the second scenario is people are opting in and they're not opening the email. Well, your subject line is not working for you. You know, here's your download might not be the best subject line. Take it from me, I tried that one. It didn't convert well. So a little bit of excitement using their first name in the subject. And you just compare. You don't change everything all at once. You just kind of watch and compare, and then you'll hit on something that works, and then you leave it. And so get your emails going, and then you can start to test and see what's working. You always want to track and know what is converting and what isn't, because that's going to tell you where to put your money and where not to put your money. And that's a smart business decision. All right, guys, so that's it for the opt-ins. I wanted to make this a really easy, like 30-minute training that can get you started. If you're not gathering emails, now is the time. Get started, create something today. There's people who you're going to meet in the next few days that could easily be on your list. So go ahead, and if you have any questions, let me know. And I will be back next week with more insights and tips on everything entrepreneurial when you're living your life on purpose and making a difference in the world. Thank you for being here.